Well, hello there. Yeah, I was sitting there the other day, and a bunch of us on the internet talking, and Islam came up. And one of the boys talking about how many Muslims Obama was putting in office, and putting here and putting there, and Homeland Security gal, she just, gave secret top clearance to some old guy who used to run with the terrorists, and they kind of, nobody's really talking about it. The media don't tell you nothing. The media, it seems like Obama can't do no wrong, so whatever he does is great. They show you all the nice stuff about it, and anything else they just ignore. But what is Islam? Do you know? I mean, we hear about it all the time. We hear about, the women are running around in burqas and what have you. And then you have the other ones, that they try to have a TV show about Americans in Islam or Muslims in America or something, But the women were running around, and half the time they didn't even have a headscarf on. Well, you have to remember, it's kind of like a Christian. You have different ones. You have Baptist and Catholic and stuff. But you have a core belief and core things that makes you a Baptist. You can't be a Baptist if you believe in abortion or believe in gay marriage, because as Baptists they don't believe in that. So it's kind of like a Muslim. If Islam says a woman has to be covered, and they're running around not covered, are they really following their belief? Are they really strong, Muslims or Islam? Okay, where did Islam come from? About, 650, 600, somewhere back in there. Old boy Muhammad, he was basically an orphan. Mom died, dad died, uncle raised him. Uncle was a trader. They're in Saudi Arabia. They had a bunch of, traders all done with camel and stuff, and that's kind of what he done for religion, the job, and that's kind of how Muhammad was raised. Then when he was in his 20s, there was another gal. She was in business. She was a widow, Jewish woman, and they hooked up together and got married. And he only had that one wife as long as she was alive. He only had one wife. He didn't get his other 12 or 13 wives till after she had passed on. But anyway, he was basically a pretty well-to-do guy, and he'd go up in the mountains and meditate, and he started hearing voices, and voices telling him stuff, and he'd come down and tell the people, and they kind of started religion. The part I like about it, if you go there and actually read it, and the Quran is what the angel told. I don't understand why the angel told him and God didn't tell him. I mean, it's like God needs a messenger, or I guess that was their day of God's email. They sent an angel down and talk to you. If we're going to start a whole new religion, I'll just email the guy to do it. I don't know. But anyway, the series of what he was told to do, the way it was told, is not the same that's in the Quran. The Quran is all the sayings, or revelations that he got from God, or from the Gabriel, the angel, or the email, or whatever. And when they put the Quran together, instead of going in order of when he was told, they put it by size. Little ones first, big ones last, or big ones last, little ones first. It's been a while since I read the Quran. But anyway, so when you read it, it makes absolutely no sense. You got to have the book of Muhammad, and you got to have the book of Sharia, and you got to have, a couple other things to go through with it, and that's, be taught and study it and all this stuff. But if you go back in the book of Muhammad, he talks about what God told him. It started out as a peaceful religion. He grew up. At the time, there in America, it was a pagan country. A lot of pagans. Had a lot of Christians, had a lot of Jews. They traveled in and out. And when he got up, they started having a pretty good following. The people there pretty much basically kicked him out of town, run him off. He went up north. Well, then supposedly You know, the angel come and told him that he could go back and take up a sword and take his rightful land back. It seemed like as you go through the history and the story of Muhammad, anytime he wanted to do something, he'd get a revelation from God and he'd go do it, whether, attack this person or kill that person or keep the wives for slaves and, kill all the men off and all this sort of stuff. They figured out that when as they started expanding, they was killing all the males. Well, they didn't have nobody to farm the land. So what did they do? Well, God told them to tax them. Let them live, but give them a tax. Make them pay a tax. Make them swear to allegiance to Islam, and then tax them. Later on, there's like, well, you can keep your religion, but you have to be taxed, and you can live in peace, and blah blah blah. So I don't know. It kind of disturbed me the other day. They can't have nothing about God or Bibles or anything, Jesus or anything, and Ten Commandments or nothing in school. But up there, I believe it's the East Coast. It might have been out there in California. Both of them seem to do weird things, but they want to put it in school. We're talking about grade school. Have classes that teach the kids Islam, so they can have an understanding of Islam. So when they listen to the 6 o'clock news and talk about all these Muslims running around chopping all these people's heads off, they can understand why they're doing it and not be afraid and all this stuff. I don't know about you people, but if you can't have Baptists in school, I don't see why we can have Muslims in school. It's just my opinion. Anyway, that's my little bit of rant. You really need to get out there and see who our real enemies are, see what they really stand for, see what their philosophy is. The Ottoman Empire was created by Muslims when they tried to take over the world. They got up into Spain, they was over into France, and they Germany. They done a pretty good job taking a pretty good chunk of it. Really need to learn how, Turkey, we need to get in there, Istanbul, whatever the town is and stuff. One time it was a Christian, that was their city, and Muslims took it over and turned it into Muslim, changed the name and whatever, stuff. We need to really study our history, because I don't remember studying none of this stuff over when I was in school. Of course, that's been probably, 120, 130 years ago, but anyway, they ain't teaching it now. Now they want to start teaching one, explaining it. Muslims are good. Just because they cut people's head off, you just don't understand, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's kind of my rant. Peace out.